All right, thanks for coming, you guys. For my presentation, I'm going to teach you guys something that we can all apply to our lives, and that is how to be more creative. So I'm going to share with you guys a riddle. See if you guys know it. What goes around the world but stays in a corner? A stamp. I'll give you one more. I'm part of the bird that's not in the sky. I can swim in the ocean and yet remain dry. What am I? Nice! 10 points. So when I hear riddles like this, I just kind of want to hit my head because I think too logically about it instead of thinking more creatively. And when you think of riddles, you got to think out of the box. And so for my profession, I'm a web designer, and I have to do a lot of out-of-the-box thinking for creating logos, posters, anything. And so I've come up with ways that have helped me be a lot more creative. And so the first question is, what stops us from being creative? The first thing I came up with is criticism from our peers. We don't like to be wrong. It's just part of human nature. And so when we're told we're wrong and we may feel dumb or we don't want to share ideas if we keep being told that we're wrong. The second point I came up with is you are part of a group and maybe you're not the creative thinker. You may leave it up to someone else and not contribute as much, but that's not the kind of thinking we should do, because if we're part of a team and we're all contributing ideas, the end result is far greater than if just one person is doing the creative thinking. My last point is it's too much work. And I'm not going to lie, it's more work than we like, because creating something, you have to do planning, you have to create, and then you have to actually execute it. And so compare it to just doing a math problem. Math problem, you just do the equation, and it is hard, but it's different. And so there's so many different paths you can take. It's not just one straight path. And so it kind of prohibits us from kind of thinking creative and out of the box. And so I hate to break it to you, but you're all creative. The truth is, you were born creative. When we're babies and when we're little kids, we were much more creative than we are now. Ken Robinson, he's a TED speaker, he said, we don't grow into creativity, we grow out of it. So what he means by this is, when we were kids or toddlers, we were exploring the world and finding out new things and taking chances and breaking the rules. And the difference is kids aren't afraid of being wrong, but as adults, we go through school and jobs and we're continually being told that we're wrong, which kind of tears away our creative spirit. And so the question is, how do we reach our full creative capacity? In my life, I've found these basic 6 steps that have helped me be more creative that I really want to share with you guys. So the first one I came up with is asking for feedback. You should be comfortable doing it, but you should also be careful and not let it affect your state of mind. What I mean by this is, when we ask for feedback, we should be confident in our project, because if we're not, if we hear negative feedback, we may be tempted to just throw the project away and not work on it anymore. But if we're confident and straightforward about what we want to do, then we can create something great. And then with the feedback, we can tweak little things about it and improve it more. My second point is to not be a perfectionist. Imperfection is human, and sometimes the most creative artists leave mistakes unfixed on purpose. So, perfectionists, if you think about it, nature, outside, everything is imperfect, kind of. No one tree is similar, and even like looking at the sky, it's always changing and different, but that's what makes it beautiful. And so don't try to be so perfect that you end up destroying the very thing that made your work unique. My third point is put yourself in situations that you know you will fail. I have a quote here that says, creativity is like dating. If you never strike out at least some of the time, you're not trying hard enough. So what I mean by this is, Perfectionists, they are afraid of failure, and so therefore they don't try new things. They just stick to the one thing that they know they're good at, but this leaves no room for growth because they're just sticking with the same old thing every day. And so you have to let go of your ego so then you can jump into new and challenging situations. And so you have to be prepared to fail. Don't expect, but be prepared to, so then it won't get you down if you don't reach where you want to go. My fourth point is to think like an adult but act like a kid. If we remember the movie Big, there's a kid and he wakes up one day and he's a grown adult. And so he goes to his job and he comes up with these ideas that none of the other adults have even considered. And the reason is kids don't have these roadblocks and rules that as adults we're used to. And sometimes we even put those rules that aren't even there, we just put them there ourselves. And so even though rules are there for a reason, they can inhibit our creativity. So my suggestion is to find a way to responsibly break the rules sometimes, because then you can achieve things you never thought you could. My fifth point is to find a routine that works for you. It's kind of cut off, but routines can be positive if they reinforce a healthy and creative mindset. And so you don't normally think of creative people as having a schedule they stick to every day, but it actually helps them a lot because say they have a time they work out every day or a sleeping schedule they stick to. They have this so that they actually have time set aside to be creative and work on their creative projects. So therefore they're not using like their brain power throughout the day thinking, oh, what am I going to eat? What am I doing today? So when they have that time set aside, they can work on what they want to work on, and they're not rushing through it. And so it's really important to have that time so that the end result is a lot greater. I actually have a video here that illustrates my point. So, as you can see from that video, those kids had time. When they had more time, their ideas were a lot more creative and fun. And so my last point, is to challenge yourself to creative exercises. So this could really be anything. Just try a new hobby, even if it's something you're not used to or comfortable with. One thing I like to do is try a new hobby for maybe like 30 days. And if I like it, then I'll pursue it and keep doing it. If I don't, then I'll I'll try something new the next month. It could really be anything. It could be drawing, painting, writing short stories. If you can't find anything, just look up on Pinterest something to do, and you'll come up with something. So in conclusion, I want to challenge you all to look inside your inner child and don't be afraid to take chances, because you can only be creative if you take that leap of faith. Thanks.